Hello America, this is David here from fortruthsake.com and the Radical Conservative. I want to talk to you a little bit about the psychopolitics that I've been writing about again. I know I mentioned it in my last video, if you happen to catch it. I think there's a lot going on in our country that's very easily explained by this art of psychopolitics, this art of brainwashing your enemy. Basically is what it is. It's a Soviet method of brainwashing your enemy to accept communism. It's conquest. It's conquest through ideological subversion. Let me ask you something. How else do you explain the video that we've seen where Jonathan Gruber admitted to depending on the stupidity of the American voter to get Obamacare passed? I mean, here we had a situation where conservatives fought very hard to try to educate people on the reality of Obamacare. We were called terrorists, racists, radicals, liars, what have you. I mean, they spared no expense in discrediting anything that we said. And when all is said and done, here comes Jonathan Gruber, admits that they depended on the stupidity of the American voter, which pretty much makes that law one of the biggest frauds perpetrated on the American public. And yet, our Congress still votes to fund it when they know how angry we are. The Congress still voted to fund it. Well, that's because the Congress are the dupes. The Congress is the real target in the psychopolitical operations, America. It's not you and me. We're not the useful idiots. We're so small on the scale of anything that matters. It's the politicians and anybody else that wields any influence over anything that these people are targeting. I want to read something to you here. This is from an article called From Russia with No Love, and it talks about ideological subversion and what it basically means to change the perception of reality. Ideological subversion. An overt, slow process to change the perception of reality of every American to such an extent that despite the abundance of information, no one is able to come to sensible conclusions in the interest of defending themselves, their families, their community, and their country. Okay? You see, there's a reason why the left is going to great lengths to discredit and destroy the reputations of anybody that goes against them. And it's because once somebody has been demoralized, once somebody has been defamed and degraded to the point where they absolutely have no idea what to believe anymore, they can be reprogrammed and brought to do the bidding of the communists. That's just the way it is. Something I want to read to you here out of the book, okay, Psychopolitics, and I mentioned this in my last article at fortruthsake.com, entitled Gun Ownership as the Disease, Psychopolitics as the Cure. And this is it. The realm of defamation and degradation to the psychopolitician is man himself. By attacking the character and morals of man himself, and by bringing about, through contamination of the youth, a general degraded feeling, command of the populace is facilitated to a very marked degree. You see, America, there's a reason why we are being told we're racist. There's a reason why we are being told that we are the scourge of the world. There's a reason why they release those CIA torture videos or report all of it is designed to demoralize us, to guilt us, to degrade us, to make us feel shameful, because once they can do that, they can control us. Okay? They can control us. And that's exactly what's going on in this culture today. The media, all the institutions, the education system are all dedicated to playing their role in carrying out the narrative that America is what's wrong with the world, and it is destroying the moral base, the moral high ground that we once stood on. Because the people in this country don't have a clue about their own history, and because they're being lied to, they don't know what leg to stand on in order to defend themselves. Just as the last paragraph I read to you from the article From Russia with No Love, Ideological Subversion. The communists, I've said this several times before, believe in that man can be brainwashed, hypnotized, what have you, whatnot. And sorry, I'm losing my place here. What they do is they shock you. Okay, they shock you with this defamation, with this degradation. They shock you with images of horror. They shock you with fear. So you're nothing but a helpless entity running around with your head cut off. And they believe that this makes you susceptible to their commands. They refer to it in the book of Psychopolitics as hypnosis. And that's exactly what it is. Okay? The only way that you can resist it is by opening your eyes to it and knowing what the truth is. You know, I used to think that just simply by telling the truth and standing up for the truth, you'd be able to influence enough people to make a change. That's not true. You know, it isn't, because what we're dealing with is some powerful stuff here. Because when you think about it, the kids get into the school and the leftists get them, and they start programming them right then with Skinnerian conditioning, Pavlovian conditioning, and they start pounding into their heads that America's evil, America's racist, that by the time they get out of high school, you can show them the facts of this country, you can show them something completely antithetical to what they've learned, and it won't matter. They won't accept it. These are the people that we now have in our elected offices. These are the people that we now have in the institutions making decisions, are the 2 or 3 generations of people that have been educated this way. Yeah. Anyway, take it for what it is. This is the book, Psychopolitics, like I showed you before. It's all in here. It's worth the read. It's worth the read. On that note, I'm going to close up for tonight. We'll see you later.